Hello everyone, hope all of you are well and welcome to my session. I am Mr. Mohana, better known as Mohana Ram Murugiah, and I am from Methodist Girls School IPOH. And for today, we are having our English language session, particularly for continuous writing. And I hope all of you are well. And yes, next week, this time, you will be having your English language paper 1 and 2. So you have about 7 more days, but 8 more days if we include today, before your English language paper. So for today's session, I'm going to share with you some tips and tricks for SPM continuous writing. And if you see, previously I have had a lot of sessions, and if you have attended my session, you would have known I've shared sample essays, examples of ways to narrate and elaborate ideas. So for today's session, I'm not going to share much on sample essays, but I'm just going to share what are the things that you can do at this point of time. You have another 8 more days. I'm just going to share a little bit things on all the types of essays for continuous writing, things that you should remember, and the things that you can do to get yourself prepared for your big day. Okay, so let's get started. Okay, so if you see for our SPM continuous writing, we have 5 different essays. Or 5 genres that you have to write. We have descriptive writing, narrative writing, factual, argumentative, and reflective. So these are the most commonly tested types of essays for continuous writing skills. So if you see, I'm sure at this point of time you would have gotten a hang of all these essays. What you have to do is, the next thing that you have to remember in SPM, if you're having nightmare or not knowing what is going to come out in your SPM exam, you do not need to worry. Your SPM questions will not be something that is going to be very difficult. I can assure you that. Your SPM question for continuous writing or directed writing will revolve around these 8 themes. The themes that has been given in your textbook from 4 to 5. People, environment, social issues, health, values, science and technology. So these are the themes that will be used to create your, most probably the questions are ready, so which has been used to create your SPM questions. Okay, for continuous writing. So you do not need to worry that the question might be about something that will be out of your knowledge. No, probably factual essay, probably it might be a little difficult if you do not know the issue that is being discussed. So you can avoid writing factual. But narrative and descriptive is always about something that is around you, something that you can narrate and something that you can describe. Just keep that in mind. And the most important thing is keep a positive mind on what's going to come out. Don't think so much of what is how it is going to be. Just focus on your preparation right now. Okay, so to prepare for your SPM writing, continuous writing, and this can be also used for directed writing, what are the things that you can do at this point of time? Okay, so here, these are my suggestions for you. So what you can do is, first, go through all the formats and forms of essays, meaning to say for directed writing, you have format, formal letter, informal letter, and then you have speech, article. So go through all these essays. And for continuous writing, as I said earlier, you have descriptive essay, you have narrative, you also have a factual, argumentative, and reflective essays. So go through all these essays. Now, if possible, for the next 8 days until your SPM exam English paper, try to study at least 5 English essays every day. Okay, just allocate some time. I'm sure you are thinking on how to prepare, and some of you might be practicing writing now. Besides practicing, you also need to enrich your knowledge, enrich your what I would say, that enrich yourself with more vocabulary, more inputs on writing skills. So one way to do it at this point of time is you can study at least 5 English essays every day. As I put there in my slides, with a technique, what do I mean by a technique means? You do not start directly, go and look for essays that are too difficult for you. At this point of time, you know what I mean. You know your level. You know where you are. Okay? So do not go and look for, for example, don't be too ambitious and look for A-level or O-level essays. I know some SPM students, they do that. If you can't handle difficult essays, don't do that. Take essays, read the essays that you can understand easily. Okay, read the essays that you can understand easily. Now, take 10 to 15 minutes to read one essay. After finish reading the essay, take a paper and try to jot down what are the things that you remember about this essay. The words or sentence structure, the plot of a story if you are reading a narrative essay. All these would help you to enrich your mind with more information that is required for you to use when you are writing in your SPM. So now you have about 8 more days. So this is the time for you to gear up and work on with all these reading essays. And as you read, you also need to practice. So you don't have much time already. And I'm sure you would want to practice other subjects as well, for example, BM and mathematics and so on. So try to at least practice writing 1 essay a day and set a time limit, 350 words in 1 hour. Okay, try to practice your speed, and in that speed, try to include all the necessary information that you need to include in your continuous writing skill. So set a time. Okay, you know, a lot of students, when they write continuous writing, they take their own sweet time to produce a good essay. They write 2 to 3 hours when in times of practice, but this is not the time. Now you have to do the latte to be, which means you have to set your time for 1 hour, and then you write your essay. Why do you have to do that? This is because you in your SPM, you only have 1 hour 45 minutes for paper 1 writing. And the 45 minutes is for your directed writing, and you only have 1 hour for continuous writing. So 1 hour brings about 50 marks. Okay, you have 50 marks for an hour. So you have to work within that 1 hour to produce a good essay. That is why I say, besides reading at least 5 essays a day, you can also try to practice at least 1 essay a day for continuous writing. I mean, 1 essay a day, which a time within 1 hour. And within that 1 hour, you complete that essay. You look at your essay. What is the quality of your essay? Probably you can just forward the essay to your teachers, and your teacher can help you to check and give you a score for that. And you know, in the next 8 days, you practice and practice and practice. I'm sure by the time you'll sit for your English paper, you would be quite ready because you have practiced enough. You know, this practice is very important. What happened is because during SPM examinations, I have seen students, they're writing for continuous writing. Towards the end, it's horrible that you wouldn't even recognize what they have written because they were rushing to complete the essay. Why? Because there's no proper time management. So the time management is very important. So practice writing essay. If you're practicing directed writing, within 45 minutes, complete within 45 minutes. If you are writing continuous writing, complete within 1 hour. You see, 1 hour is not for you to write, you know. You only have time to write the complete essay in about 50 minutes only. You only have 50 minutes. The 10 minutes is for you to read the essay, understand the question, and then digest the question, a little bit of draft, what vocabulary you want to use. It takes 10 minutes. And you have about 50 minutes to complete the essay. And as for directed writing, the same thing. You have to read through everything, understand what the content requires, and you have to write. So probably you may have from 45 minutes, you may have only 35 minutes to write the essay because 10 minutes take time for you to plan. So time management is very important at this point of time. So if you want to produce a good piece of essay. A lot of times students make mistakes. I will point out what are the mistakes that the students have made in the past that make them lose their marks. Okay, so these are the few things that you can do at this point of time before your SPM for the next 8 days. Okay, try to think, okay, try to avoid newspapers. This is not the time for you to do that. Okay, newspapers and magazines is not a time for you to do that, because right now you need to prepare for your SPM. So when you're preparing for your SPM, try to get SPM level books, SPM level essays, and try to read them. For example, I have an SPM book here. Try to get an SPM writing essay books and try to read essays from them. I'm sure many SPM books are at SPM level, so read those books. And if you, so this is what you can do. And I'm sure your teachers have shared with you a lot of sample essays. So read through all the sample essays. Okay, read all the sample essays and study them. Study means don't just read and then put it aside. As you study the sample essay, take notes, take the ideas from there, list down the vocabulary that you read, and then try to take some sentences from there and write it down on a piece of paper as your notes. And from there, try to construct your own. So these would help you to improve at least a little, to go further, a little further with your writing skills before your SPM. So these are a few last minute things that you can do if you have not been doing anything. Now, so if you have questions, you may post on the chat, you may post so that I will be able to answer later. So now these are the things that you can do at this point of time, Now, the next thing that I'm going to tell you is about descriptive essay. Now, you see, SPM questions nowadays are not as direct as they are direct, okay? They are direct. It's just that you have to analyze what the question requires you to write. This is very important, okay? A lot of students miss out at this part, analyzing the question. And instead of answering the question, they write something else, okay, which makes them even. This happens to a lot of pelajar cemerlang, This happens to a lot of pelajar cemerlang, where they're supposed to get A+ for their English, they end up getting A. Why? Because they did not look through the question properly. Okay, I will show you what are the things that they miss out. So before that, if you're in an SPM, when you are required to write a descriptive essay, these are the things that you should be describing. For example, you would be asked to describe an event, a person, a place, or describe your feeling when you went for some events or what. So these are if it is a descriptive essay, these are the most 4 common things that you need to describe. So an event, it could be a school event, it could be a wedding, it could be a celebration, it could be a festival, it could be any event that you need to describe the atmosphere. A person, for example, I think, wait, let's look at last year's question after this, then I will discuss that. Okay, a person, so probably a father, a person you admire, what kind of person you want to be. Okay, describing a person. A place, for example, if you have gone for holiday, if you describe your holiday destination, so you describe the place. And feelings, how did you feel at that moment? Okay, so you have to describe your feeling. Now, when describe your feeling, you don't just say, I am sad. That is stating. That is just one sentence. When describing your idea, meaning to say you have to go more than just a sentence. You have to elaborate further. Okay, so that is why it is very important for you to understand the questions, what is going to be tested, okay, as you read the question. So please take note of these 4 things here. So if it's a descriptive essay, these are the 4 most common things that comes to my mind, okay. Now, look at this question. Okay, this is an example of an SPM question. Okay, describe a school holiday that was meaningful to you and explain why. Okay, so you see, this is just not a school holiday that is asking you to describe, but you have to say that that was a meaningful to you. So the holiday should be that is meaningful. So the idea of meaningful should come out from your description. Okay, and it's really about holiday that was meaningful, but you also have to explain why that holiday was meaningful. Okay, now things to do when you describe this. Okay, when you describe this essay, this is describing a holiday, and there's a possible thing that you can add in a little bit of narrative, but make sure it doesn't overshadow the idea of describing the school holiday, which was meaningful, and turn into a complete narrative. A lot of good students do this. Okay, they see school holiday meaningful and explain why. They try to bring in an event into it, and then they try to turn it into the story. The idea of school holiday disappears there. So keep that in mind. Try to stick as much as you can to the idea of a school holiday that was meaningful and explain why. Okay, I'll just explain to you one simple example after this. Okay, now describe the school holiday. Things that you should do when you are given this kind of question is, first, you need to describe the school holiday. Okay, so when you're describing the school holiday, how did you feel? Okay, you can explain your feeling. How did you spend your time? Where did you go? Okay, and who did you meet? Okay, so you can also add in the idea, who did you go for your holidays? Okay, who did you it's who did you meet, yeah, not who did you met. There's a typo there. Who did you meet? And then you can also add in, who did you go holiday with? Okay, now these are the things that you can explain. Now, you don't need to think something that is out of the world. You know, a lot of students try to think out of the box but end up writing crap. So what you can do is, do not try to make your essay simple, but enrich your essay with a lot of details. Enrich your essay with details. So describe a school holiday that was meaningful. You can write a story, describe a school holiday that you went with your family, and you can actually explain what did you do with your family there. Okay, for example, you could describe a holiday where you went to your grandparents' house, okay, with your parents and your siblings, and you can describe what did you do with your grandparents there. How did you spend time with your grandparents and your family there? And who are the other people who came and joined you during your holiday there? And what made that holiday a meaningful holiday? You could say that holiday was a meaningful holiday because we could spend time together as a family after a very long time. Okay, which made it a meaningful holiday. You see, it's as simple as that can become a meaningful holiday. Some students, they write, okay, a school holiday, they went for holiday, they found an old lady's purse was snatched, and then you see, your holiday, you went for holiday, that's it. The rest of it becomes the how you save the women from the snatch theft and help her, and that's your meaningful, your action. So you see, your story here, it overshadowed your description. So do not let that happen. Do not let that happen. Describe your school holiday and bring, do not let any other story overshadow your school holiday. Bring in this idea of stories into your school holiday. Describe the things that you do. Keep this in mind. Now, a lot of students make mistake. Why? Because the idea of school holiday, describing the school holiday and meaningful becomes very little because they add in some other story. Like, for example, instead of writing a school holiday, you describe about a journey to your holiday destination, and throughout your journey, you saw so many things. Okay, but the idea of the holiday being meaningful is missing. So when the idea of the meaningful holiday goes missing in your essay, meaning to say you did not fully ask. Okay, so keep that in mind. So here in this question, this descriptive essay, you have 3 things. You are responsible to put in 3 things in your essay. School holiday, meaningful, explain why. Now, the one thing that you have to remember when you're writing another thing is tenses. Okay, at this point of time, I'm not going to talk about vocabulary, but tenses are very important. For example, when you use tenses, okay, you see the circle that I put. The reason I put the circle is because to show you that this essay should be written in past tense. Describe a school holiday that was meaningful, meaning to say the entire school holiday should be written in past. And when you write the entire holiday in the past, so you have to use simple past tense, past perfect tense, and past continuous tense, and anything that is related to the past. Okay, keep this in mind. Okay, so remember, when you are describing something, these are the things that you have to keep in mind. Okay, these are the things that you have to keep in mind. Read the question carefully. Okay, a lot of students, they miss out the most important element in the question. For example, some people describe a school holiday that was meaningful, but they did not put the explanation why. So as you get your question in your SPM, when you read the question, try to take a highlighter or a pencil and a ruler, underline all the most important parts of the question and tell yourself, these are the things that I have to, okay, don't talk too loud because you're in the examination hall. Just silently talk to yourself. Okay, tell yourself that these are the things that I have to answer. Okay, don't immediately start writing, oh, this soalan very kacang. Just start writing. That is when you would sway away from what the question requires you to write. So make sure you do not get swayed. Okay, focus on the question, read the questions carefully. Read at least 2 to 3 times to really understand. Okay, now the next is, now narratives. Okay, I have talked so much about narrative in my YouTube channels and so on. So for this one, I'm just going to tell you that if you are writing a narrative, okay, these are the things that you need to focus. Okay, characters, you need to have a plot, place, and details about all the above. Details, you need to add details, a lot of details. Narrative requires you to put in a lot of details. Now, narrative, nowadays, in SPM question, narratives, the plot is already there. Question. Okay, if you have seen the 19 question, the idea of the plot was already there. You just need to elaborate the plot elaborate the idea based on the plot given. Okay, let me show to you the example after this. Okay, now this is last year's SPM question. Okay, a 2019 SPM question. Write a story about 2 people who had an argument because one of them had lost a mobile phone. End your story with, and they both realized how they had been foolish. Okay, so again, first, okay, before you go into the, okay, so if you see this essay, okay, okay, if you see this essay, you are required to write in past tense, right? Okay, which part shows that you have to write past tense? You have a had, okay? You have a had here, okay? You have a had here, another had, and had been. Okay, so if you see, you are supposed to narrate this story in past. Okay, you are supposed to narrate this story in past. So that is the most, that is why you have to make sure, when you get the question, you see the tenses that you need to use. Next, okay, how many people are involved in this story? You see, the story is about 2 people. So the 2 characters you need to create. Okay, you have 2 characters here. And then had an argument. Who had an argument? Okay, so your story must have an argument about one of them had lost a mobile phone. And you have to narrate the story to show that at the end that they had been foolish about their argument. So the plot is already there. The plot has been given to you. So what you have to do is you have to elaborate. So here you have to describe the character. Okay, the 2 people. Who are the 2 people? A very simple essay you can think of is like 2 characters, Ali and Aming. They went for a school camping trip in a jungle. So you have to bring out the idea of putting idea in the jungle. So they had a very strenuous day in the jungle, doing a lot of activities. And Aming bought his newly bought iPhone 10 for the camping to take clear pictures of all the activities. And he was showing off his handphone to all his friends in the camp. Okay. And the only person who was sharing the tent with Aming was you, Ali. So on the next morning, while you're getting ready for the activity, what happened was Aming's handphone was missing. Okay, so when Aming's handphone was missing, so he automatically would blame Ali because they were the one in the room. Okay, they were the one in the room. So what happened when they were the one in the room? So Aming started blaming Ali. So when Aming start blaming Ali, there's the argument started. And you can bring the argument and then they go and see the teacher and then they start searching the entire camping ground and suddenly they found the iPhone in Aming's bag itself. Okay, you see, and they had been foolish. So the argument must be something about how foolish they were to argue over that thing, that issue. Okay, so remember, okay, for narrative, the plot is given to you. Okay, so you don't have to worry. The plot is something very similar, a story. Okay, a story, and you should be able to describe the people in the story. That's it. Okay, now, and of course, again, when you're writing a narrative, you have two people here. Okay, and you have to write everything in simple past tense. Okay, meaning to say you can use past tense, past perfect tense, and past continuous. These are the most commonly used tenses of the past in writing narrative or something that is describing that something that had happened in the past. Okay. Now, I'm just going to show you an example of two essays here. Okay, this has got nothing to do with the earlier one. Yeah, this is just an example of two paragraphs. Now, you look at example A and example B. Okay, now, example A. It was at this time that my father's business took a turn for the worse. My father was a provision shop owner and he trusted many people readily. One day, his assistant ran off with a substantial amount of the shop's money. During that time, my father's health was deteriorating and he was bedridden. We were at our wits' end, perplexed by the mysterious illness he was suffering from. My father then sold our family car to pay off the mounting bills. Okay, so this is one example. Now, there's another example of this same idea in example B. My father's good business suddenly became bad. He had a shop selling things needed in the house. One day, his shop servant ran away with all money. We have nothing already after that. My father fell very sick and cannot move from bed. Our life became very difficult. My father then sold his car to pay off the debts. Okay, so these are the two examples that I've shared with you for an example of narrative to show on some common mistakes that students do. Okay, now if you see comparing example A and example B, now which one would you prefer? Which one do you feel better? Obviously, example A is better than example B. Okay, now before we go to example A and look at the strength of example A, let us look at example B. Now, example B says, my father's good business suddenly became bad. He had a shop selling things needed in house. One day, his shop servant ran away with all money. Okay, now, if you see, this is the common error that students make. You see, there is a mixture of tenses. The story is supposed to be written in the past, but there is a mixture of simple present tense and simple past tense that the student has used here that caused his essay to be a little bit now the idea is very clear. The idea is very clear. It's just that this student would lose marks in terms of the language, where instead the idea of simple what I would say, the simple present tense use and the past tense use are improper here. So you have to make sure. Okay, for example, my father's good business suddenly became bad. He had a shop selling things needed for the house. So you're supposed to say a provision shop. Okay, you're not the right word. You're not using the right word. Speed. Okay, so this is what you have to keep in mind. Okay, this is what you have to keep in mind. Try to use the exact word you are writing your essay. Okay, Aaron, I'll get back to you. Yeah, let me finish explaining this first. Okay, let me explain this. Finish explaining this first. Okay, so if you see, one day his shop servant ran away with all money. So it's supposed to be with all the money, right? with all the money. So he ran away, right? So it's supposed to be in past tense. We have nothing already. We had nothing left. Okay? Nothing left. Okay? My father fell very sick and cannot move from bed. Okay? It's supposed to be bedridden. Our life became very difficult. My father then sell his car. Okay, sell his car means supposed to be written as sold his car. Okay, so this is what I say when you're writing. I'm sure you would be able, as an SPM student, you should be able to differentiate. If you want to get an A plus lah, okay, you should be able to differentiate past tense and present tense at this point of time. Now, if you are very weak, you really do not know how to put ideas in. If you do not know how to differentiate present tense and past tense, doesn't matter. Doesn't matter. Students who always fail in English are those who do not write anything. Keep in mind, students who fail their SPM English are those who do not write anything, or they write everything other than English. Other than the English language, meaning to say they wrote in Bahasa Malaysia or whatever thing. Okay, so keep in mind, if you... Yes, Aaron. Okay, Aaron, I'll get back to you. Okay, so keep in mind that these are the things that you have to keep in mind. Okay, if you are very weak, if you think you are a very weak student at this point of time, tak ada masa nak belajar, okay, tak cukup content dalam kepala, tak apa. Just study the sample essay, tulis sahaja whatever you know dalam bahasa Inggeris. It will help you to at least get a C, okay, a D. It will help you to pass. But if you are a student who is aspiring an A+, make sure you take note of all the small little things that you need to pay attention to. Okay, so you have an option. Okay, so please keep in mind, kalau kamu seorang pelajar yang sangat lemah, jangan risau. Usaha untuk tulis apa sahaja yang kamu boleh dalam bahasa Inggeris. Pastikan jawab soalan dalam bahasa Inggeris. Pastikan jawab dalam 350 patah perkataan. Jangan risau pasal apa-apa benda lain. Jangan risau. Don't worry about anything else. Just write in 350 words. Try your best to answer the question. That is the best thing that you can do, and I can assure you everything will be fine. Okay? As I said, biasanya pelajar yang gagal bahasa Inggeris adalah pelajar yang tidak berusaha untuk menulis. So kalau kamu ada usaha untuk menulis, yang lepas tulis saya percaya yang kamu akan lulus. So usaha untuk tulis sesuatu. Okay? Now, okay, let us go to example A. So I have quite a number of questions from Aaron Michael. Okay, 2 questions from Aaron Michael here. Okay, yeah, Aaron, I will answer your question, but before that, let me look at the strength in example A. So example A is an example of a, okay, of course, you know, it's a good example, referring to what we say, example of a good in A+ essay. So my father's business took for the turn is a phrasal verb. Okay, my father was a provision shop owner. Okay, kedai runcit, as what Aaron said, and he trusted many people readily. One day, his assistant ran off. Okay, you use phrasal verb here again, with a substantial amount of the money of the shop's money. So I didn't use a lot of money. I used substantial amount of the shop's money. I'm going specific. Okay, during that time, my father's health was deteriorating and he was bedridden. Okay, meaning to say the health condition was becoming from bad to worse, and he was bedridden. We were at our wits. So what does it mean by our wits end? Okay, wits end means you not knowing what to do. You do not know what to do. You do not know how to solve the problem that is happening around you. Okay, so that's by our wits end. Okay. Okay, then we were at our wits end, perplexed by the mysterious illness he was suffering from. My father then sold our family car to pay off the mounting bills. Okay, so if you see, Aaron, wait, yeah, okay, if you see example A, this is an example of a paragraph that is written, it's well written, okay, with good use of vocabulary, okay, and phrases, well written, okay. Structure of the sentence is the sentences are properly structured, okay, instead of saying a lot of money, substantial amount of money. Now if you are going to read sample essays for your SPM, now take note of all these little things. Provision shop, if you do not know what a provision shop, instead of writing shop selling things, okay, you can say a provision shop, okay. Substantial amount of money, okay. Health was getting bad, okay. You can say health was deteriorating. So these are the things that you can learn when you read from sample essay. Now if you read sample essay for 5 minutes, just go through like that, you won't learn anything. Yeah, as you read, you need to take note, write the notes, okay. Take notes of everything that you can read, okay. Everything that you want from an essay, take note and read whenever you are free. Probably you can take all these notes and compile them, and when you go for your exam, you just read all these notes from the sample essays that you have taken, okay. Now Aaron Michael, if I write 349 marks, will my marks be deducted? No. Okay, 349 marks is considered 350 words, so you don't have to worry about that. Okay, don't worry about the number of words, okay. As long as you write 350 words, your marks will not be decided by 350 words. If you have written if you are written up to 350 words, it will be decided by how you have elaborated your idea, how you have how you have constructed your sentences, the type of vocabulary that you have used. Your sentence structure will be the determinant factor for your scores, okay. So if 349 marks, you have 349 words, okay. I'm sure you write there 349 words, right, Aaron? It's not 349 marks, okay. So if you have written 349 words, I'm very sure that if your essay is really good, you will not lose any marks, okay. Now, so when you're writing simple narrative, these are the few things that you have to consider. Mixture of short and long sentences, simple, compound, and complex sentences, combination of tenses, use past, present, and continuous if required. But if the story is entirely in the past, so write in the past. Okay, mixture of sentence type, direct and indirect speech, rich, varied, and descriptive. Okay, all these I have given more explanation in my YouTube channel. Yeah, so you can go and visit my YouTube channel so that you can get a more detailed explanation on all this, right? Vocabulary as well. Your vocabulary need to be vivid vocabulary. Use double or triple emphasis. Okay, precise. Use the precise word. Happy, excited, elated. Happy has so many different words. Don't try to just use the word happy and sad. Try to get some other words. Crying. Instead of saying crying, you can say tears cascaded down her cheeks. Okay, so she was wailing, crying loudly. She was wailing. Okay. So instead of using sad, happy, crying loudly, so you can actually use the precise idea to show emotion. Use of idioms, proverbs, and phrasal verbs. Okay, as I have said in many of my workshops earlier, you can use idioms, proverbs, and phrasal verbs in your essays, but do not overuse them. Meaning to say, when you are using these idioms, proverbs, use them when they are needed. When they are needed, only then you use them. And another thing is accuracy in punctuation, where you need to put your comma, your capital, your full stop. These are the small little things that are important. Now, let us look at this. Okay, let us look at another question here. Now, this question, some people complain that they have no free time. Discuss the reasons why they might say this and suggest how they could use their time better. Okay, this type of essay, it can be in the form, okay, this one I'm telling, it can be a reflective essay, it can be an expository essay, it can be an argumentative essay. So these essays, argumentative, factual, expository essays, okay, giving opinion-based essays, giving advantages and disadvantages, they are not like descriptive and they are not like narrative. They have a proper structure. They have a proper structure, just like how you write directed writing. But this needs to be more, what I would say, it needs to be more precise, okay, or more detailed. Okay, for example, look at this question. Some people complain that they have no free time. Discuss the reasons why they might say this why they might say this. Tears, what tears? Okay, Aaron Michael, I said tears cascading down her cheeks. Okay, tears flowing. Okay, so tears cascading down her cheeks. Or if you're in past tense, tears cascaded down her cheeks. Okay, so now look at this. Some people complain that they may have free time. Discuss the reasons why they might say this. Okay, so first you have the reason, not one reason. It says reasons why they might say this, and suggest how they could use that. So here you have to use. Okay, thanks Nisha. Okay, now, so if you see here, if you see the outline that I've given you, first, introduction. Okay, given the hustle and bustle of modern lifestyle, it is unsurprising that some people complain that they do not have free time. There could be multiple reasons for this, and the most common ones will be explored below. Okay, so here, when you write your introduction, what you can do is make sure in your introduction you clearly state the topic of your essay. Okay, this is what we call the topic sentence. Okay, so make sure you put in the idea that so meaning to say what you're going to talk what you're going to elaborate in the rest of the essay must be clearly stated in your introduction. So here I put that there could be multiple reasons for this, and the most common ones will be explored below. Okay, so I give first reason why people complain they don't have free time. The first of the usual reason is because they always claim that they are busy with work and studies. Then you so you elaborate. Then the next one, reason 2, because you cannot just give one reason. The question says reasons why. So then you go to the reason 2, second possible reason. So you have to use a signpost. The first usual reason, the second possible reason. This shows that your essay is quite organized. So organize your essays with linkers, proper starters. Okay, so here the first reason, second reason. So second possible reason is, okay, so elaborate your ideas. Now, so you have to elaborate, yeah. Now, if you do not have enough knowledge of the issue that you're going to discuss, for example, no free time. If you do not know how to write, don't try to simply pick this topic and write if you do not know what to write. Okay, meaning to say you end up going to write silly things, unnecessary things that you are going to lose marks here. Suggestion. So then you have to give suggestion, because in the question says suggest how they could use their time better. No matter how busy your life is, okay, it's not you life, huh? No matter how busy your life is, it is important to take time off and dedicate some time to ourselves. One method of gaining more free time is, okay, so you see I gave a signpost that one method of gaining free time. So giving suggestion, okay, what you can do. So plan your time properly, time management, okay, have a time management, keep a diary and set a time what you need to do at a certain time. So this is what suggestions that you can give. So you see, then after that you can do your conclusion. Okay, you can say in conclusion, in a nutshell, that being said, learn to use your time the right way, because the time that you waste will one day come back to waste you. Okay, example. Okay, so when you write a factual, advantages or disadvantages, opinion-based essay, argumentative essay, this is the structure that you need to follow. Okay, put in proper paragraph. Okay, Najmuddin, I will get back to you. Yeah, just give me a few seconds. Let me finish with this. Okay, so at this point of time, okay, so this is the structure that you need to follow. This is the structure that you need to follow. Okay, so so that is just give me a second. Okay, this is the factual, opinion-based advantages or disadvantages structure. So if you have advantages and disadvantages, so you can have your introduction, one paragraph of advantages, another paragraph of disadvantages, and probably if they ask you suggestion, which one you prefer, you can say which whether in your conclusion you can weigh yourself, okay, whether which one is more important than the other one. For example, like this one. Okay, look at the second one first. Look at the second one. Okay, sorry, yeah. Okay, look at the second one. Which do you think is more important? Money or health? Okay, this was last year's SPM question, yeah, 2019 SPM question. Which one is more important? Okay, money or health? Okay, money or health. Compare the two and decide if one is important than the other. Okay, give your reasons. Okay, okay, so if you see, okay, so if you see, okay, so here you have to, in this question, okay, so in this question, if you see here, which do you think is more important, money or health? Compare the two and decide if one is important than the other. Okay, so here, you just don't say money is important than health throughout your essay. You have to make a comparison between the two. Okay, compare the two, money or health, and at the end of the essay, which one is important, whether money is important or health is important. Decide if one is important than the other. So at the end of your essay, you can say money is more important, or you can say health is more important, or you can say both important. Okay, both are important in order to lead a comfortable life. Okay, because it says decide if one is important than the other. Okay, so give your reasons. Another thing is you have to give your reasons why you say so. If you say money is more important, you have to give reason. If you say how important, you have to give reason. If you say both are equally important, you have to also give your reasons here. So the reasons are very important. You have to give your reasons in order to get to complete the to fulfill the requirement for the question. Okay, modern the past. How far do you agree? Explain why. So how far do you agree? So you can agree till the end. You can choose to agree to a certain extent and disagree to a certain extent. In your first paragraph, you have to make it clear. Okay, yeah, in your first paragraph, you have to say whether you completely agree or you only agree to a certain extent. If you say you agree to a certain, you say there are some parts that you do not agree with. So you can write your first paragraph introduction. The second paragraph, you can say how far do you agree. And the third paragraph, you can say what you disagree with. And the last paragraph, you can give your conclusion. 4 paragraphs, just nice. But if you want to say agree, introduction, agree to paragraph, disagree to paragraph, and conclusion, doesn't matter as well. Okay, so here I have questions. Najmuddin Rose asks, sir, what do you essay for people with weak grammar mastery? Okay, Najmuddin, I suggest you to write simple paragraph at this point of time. Try to construct simple, try to make your essay as possible. Okay, try to if you try to practice the try to look into the simple present tense, simple past tense, simple past continuous tense. Sorry, simple present tense, simple past, past continuous, and present continuous. Just try to master these 4. Okay, simple present, simple past, past continuous, present continuous. Try to master these 4 and try to use your idea. Revolving around these tenses is enough. Okay, so if you are okay, for factual, most of the time for factual you use simple present tense. Okay, for narrative, most of the time you use past tense. For example, like you see, modern inventions have made our lives much too complicated. Things used to be a lot simpler in the past. So for this essay, when you describe about things that happened in the past, definitely you have to use past tense. And when you talk about what is happening in the present, so you have to use present tense and present continuous tense. What you are doing now, present continuous tense, right? So if for the modern invention essay, so you have, oh sorry, Okay, so the modern invention essays, you have to align between past tense and present tense. Okay, now if the story, like the earlier one that I said, narrative, that the one that they lost the handphone, that's supposed to be in terms of the whole story supposed to be written in past tense. So Najmuddin, I cannot tell you per se whether factual you have to use present tense or past tense, or narrative you have to use present tense or past tense. It all depends on the questions. You have to identify what form of tense that you have to use in the essay, or does the essay require you to use some part you have to use past tense, some part you have to use present tense, just like when you talk about the modern inventions. Okay, Aaron Michael, how to use good bombastic words in an essay. Okay, Aaron Michael, at this point of time, I just would suggest you to go through all the sample essays, as I said earlier. Try to look for bombastic words from there. Okay, and it's not necessary. If you do not know how to use those bombastic words, do not use. And the most important thing is, do not try anything new. For example, if you have not used any of the words that you suddenly learn on the morning of your SPM English, and you do not know how to apply in your essay, do not use that word. But if you have a list of words that you have already learned, you have already started using in your writing, you can use those words. No problem. Okay, so if you ask how to use bombastic words, it depends on what are the words that you have learned this far. Okay, now for students who have weak grammar mastery, okay, for students who have weak grammar mastery, do not be panicky during SPM English writing. I would suggest try to, as I say, don't worry. Okay, if you do not know how to differentiate past tense and present tense, your aim, what is your aim? Okay, if you want to get at least a C or a D or at least a pass, the most important thing is do not give up, just continue writing. Okay, just continue writing. Do not submit an empty piece of paper. Okay, now any other questions? Okay, this is the last day session. Yeah, I'm going through. Write about the day you first met your best friend. Describe where you were and how you began talking to each other. Explain how your friendship has developed since that time. Okay, this is a story and also descriptive. Okay, if you see, you have to write in this question, you have to write about the first day you met your best friend. Okay, you have to talk about the day you first met your best friend, one thing. Second, describe where you were, meaning to say describe the place and how you began talking to each other. Probably if you were in the classroom, okay, that was the first day of schooling, you met Ahoy, okay, how you begin talking to each other, okay, probably he threw his pen at you and then you started scolding him, that's how you started talking to him, and how you became friends, and explain how your friendship has developed since then, since that time, okay, and what happened, what is happening to the friendship now, so you can bring it from the past to the present. So you can talk about, okay, here the most important thing is first, the day you first met your best friend. Describe where you were, how you began talking to each other, explain how your friendship has developed since that time. There are 4 things that you need to pay attention in this question. Okay, so there are 4 things that you need to pay attention in this question that you need to take into consideration when you're writing your essay. If one of it missing, your marks will be below that, the band that you're supposed to get. Keep that in mind. Now, so I think that is all from me so far. So if you see, for today's session, I've just generally explored with you quite a number of things that you need to know before your SPM. So if you are looking for more essays, you can go to my Telegram channel. Okay, I've given you my Telegram channel here. Telegram English Vibes Mohana. You can go to my Telegram channel. I have already shared quite a number of essays there, sample essays. You can go and download the essays from the Telegram and you can read from there. You can also go to English Vibes Blogspot. I have shared Sing to the Dawn, last year's essays, everything there. You can also go to my blog to read the essays. And if you want to watch more videos, me explaining about narrative, factual, descriptive. I have been sharing since last year a lot of essays with explanation, vocabulary, idioms I've been sharing. So like Aaron, if you want to go and learn more bombastic words, if you want to learn more elaborations, how to use descriptive words, you can go to my YouTube channel and watch all the videos, and you can take note from there. Haha, somebody's asking, sir, do you have any idea what essay may come out in SPM? Roshwasan, if I know what is coming out in SPM, I would have just given all of you, all the essays for you all to write. Honestly, I do not know what is coming out, and I do not want to spot any questions because I do not know if it doesn't come out. I do not want to take the responsibility. So don't worry, as I said, I know there are a lot of students like Roche wasn't. Just concentrate on what you are doing. Don't think so much on what is coming out. As I say, the questions will be bearable. You must be able to answer the question. There won't be any question that is very difficult that you will go blank. Okay, trust me, you will never go blank. The questions are something that you can understand. The questions are something that you can do. Okay, there won't be any question. For example, they'll question about what is your opinion about space exploration. No, they're not going to ask those kind of essays. Okay, so and for directed writing, you have the format, you have article. So probably you focus on things, something that has not been tested for quite some time. Jian, how go will not be deducted if you write more than 350 words. Marks will not be deducted. But please bear in mind, if you write more than 350 words, make sure you write well, yeah, because the more you write, if you are writing a lot with a lot of grammatical errors, and if you sway from the real issue that you're supposed to discuss, then you will lose marks. If you're writing more than 350 words, make sure. Okay, the question says more than 350 words. Okay, the question, SPM question says in about 350 words or more than 350 words, right? So the SPM question always asks you to write an essay. Let me look at the question. I forgot the phrasing of the SPM question. Okay, the SPM question always say in about 350 words. Okay, so you can go more, no problem. But in that 1 hour, how much can you handle? Okay, in that one hour, how much can you handle? So keep in mind that. Okay, so don't worry, marks will not be deducted for the reason of writing more than 350 words. Okay, please keep your plot within the question asked. Please keep your description to what the question asks you to describe. Okay, do not sway away from what has been required of you from the question. Okay, any other questions? Well, this is the time for you to ask questions since you have only 8 days before your SPM, and probably this is my last SPM workshop. Okay, with 8 days left. So if you have questions, you may ask. Because my Telegram channel is not designed to ask questions. It's only designed for me to share materials, essays, and so on. So you... Okay, so if there's no question from you, I think that is all from me, and I wish you all the best to all SPM students who are going to sit for SPM 2020 in the year 2021. Okay, I wish you all the best. I wish you all good luck. My prayers will be with you. Okay, I wish you all the best. Study hard, study smart, and yeah, do not become panicky. Okay, I have one question. I know that is why I was like, okay, sir, if we miss something to write in a sentence, if I put that mark to add a word or sentence, but there is no space to write above, can I write after the essay is finished? Roshwasan, don't do this kind of things. Try to, okay, as you write, do not rush things. As I say, 10 minutes to put your plot properly, whatever words that you want to use, write properly. You know, sometimes I have come across this essay where the essay is so distorted, sometimes the marker won't be able to comprehend what you're trying to say, you know. So please be careful with how you put your ideas in. Put that properly, yeah? Put that properly. Do not just draw arrows here and there, you know, distorting the entire essay. The marker will get stressed out. Okay, because they are going to mark not only your essay, quite a number of essay. Aaron, if we write less than 350 words, now if you write 200 words, yes, definitely. Okay, so if like 345 to 50 words, okay, should be fine, but don't go less than 340 words lah. My advice is don't go less than 340 words. Okay? Okay, yes, Aaron, what's your question? Okay, so if you have questions and if you don't manage to okay, I see quite a lot of you here are those who used to attend all my workshop. I think Archana, Roshvasan, I think quite a number of you I've seen in my other workshops as well. And so you have been continuously following all my workshops. So I wish you all the best. I wish you all the very best. All of you, I hope all of you get a good score for your SPM, not only for your English, also for your other subjects. I'll pray for you. I wish you all the best. Okay, so if you have any questions after this, you can always go to my blog. You have my email there. You can drop an email to me. Okay, and I think somewhere on my Facebook page, you also can find my phone number. You can also send text messages or send message to me via Facebook Messenger. Okay, I will reply. I will take time to reply. So I will reply. Don't worry, because a lot of messages coming in from students from time to time. So if I don't reply, don't be sad. Reply. I will take time to reply, and I will make sure I reply all your questions before the day you sit for your SPM English paper. All right. Okay. So that is all from me. Thank you so much, and all the best to all of you. Thank you.
Thank you, Cikgu Mohana, for your good sharing. We're having a line problem here.
Okay. Thank you, Cik Hidayah, for organizing it. Thank you, SSTP. Thank you, Jpn Perak.
Cikgootube Perak, don't forget.
Yeah. Okay, and also thank you, TVP Perak. Thank you so much. Sorry, saya lupa. Thank you so much. Yeah, thank you so much for organizing this, and thank you so much for giving opportunity to share this with the students.
And also Cikgootube. Okay, I stop streaming here right
Okay,
now.
thank you. Thank you so
Okay.
much.
Bye. Thank you.
Bye.